I've been really looking forward to this recipe. Chocolate is, bizarrely enough, a great food to actually help you lose weight. Very high in antioxidants. It can actually boost your brain, kind of brain ingredients, because it's very high in flavonoids. It also has the kind of feel-good factors. You know, chocolate is the kind of go-to when you're feeling a little bit down. It's got lots of magnesium in, which is a muscle relaxant. It also has a neurotransmitter that regulates mood called anandamide. And then it's got another bit of a tongue twister, phenylethylamine, which is the happy hormone. I'm using a slightly different recipe for chocolate. Chocolate normally has the cacao paste or the cacao butter, but because this is all about weight loss, instead I'm going to use coconut oil. I'm going to use about a cup of coconut oil. This is where you can get through a lot of coconut oil. And then, just to give an added richness, I'm going to grate some coconut block. This is really coconut cream. There's lots of variations that you can make with this. You can do half coconut oil, half cacao butter. You can add in the coconut block. You can put more of that in. There's dried blueberries. You can use a few almonds. Kind of key is vanilla. What you don't need in chocolate is dairy. You don't need dairy, and then the other ingredient in chocolate that isn't great is the soy lecithin, which is the emulsifier. And classically, it's quite high in sugar. Even if you go for the darker chocolates, it's still going to have sugar present. So by doing your own chocolate, you're taking away the sugar content, and you're using coconut oil, which is a great aid. Even if you just simply introduce coconut oil alone, it would help you lose weight. So your options for the sweetener. The mostly widely available is xylitol. You can get that in most supermarkets now. I'm going to use a little bit of that. And then stevia is probably the best alternative sweetener. It's a herb that's about 1,000 times sweeter than sugar. This is a brand Sucrin, but it's just erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol. Again, doesn't affect blood sugar or insulin. This is a mixture of erythritol and of stevia. It looks like brown sugar and it kind of acts like brown sugar. For this recipe, I'm going to use part xylitol and part stevia. The reason I'm not going to do complete stevia is it does have a tendency to have a bit of a bitter taste. So I'm actually going to turn that heat off. I'm going to add in about 4 or 5 tablespoons and put that in whilst it's still melting away, so that it gives the xylitol an opportunity just to melt in there, because otherwise you get a kind of grainy texture to your chocolate. So the next bit is the chocolate. I am using cocoa powder, so this isn't raw cacao powder. I decided to use this just because, again, you can find this in most supermarkets, which will give it a nice rich chocolatey taste. So I'll just stir that in. Chocolate does have some, very kind of fragile fats in it, so you don't want to expose it to too much temperature. You want to also add in some vanilla. Now I've got vanilla powder, but you can also use vanilla extract. Again, be aware there's a lot of vanilla products out there, but they have hidden amounts of sugar in them. And then the stevia. So about a teaspoon of stevia. And lastly, some salt. Now, I absolutely love salt in chocolate. You may not want to include this, but it just really brings out the flavouring. I kind of consider myself a massive aficionado of salted chocolate, even a bit more than that. So just to show you, I'm just simply going to pour because I've used xylitol, it doesn't completely dissolve in the chocolate, so you want to really swirl this around and just spread the xylitol around so that it does get into the corners. Okay, so that's your basic product, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle some coconut on top, like that. So I'm going to put that in the freezer. Even after about 20 minutes that should be ready, but the fridge is going to take a good hour or so. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, look at this. I need to get something properly thick to go. Oh. I'll try a little bit. I'll try a little bit. Yummy. That was a success. So try and restrict yourself to just maybe a quarter of this at a time.
Mom!